What's going on YouTube? Jim and Lim here. We are back, and last time we did an instructional video for the game Redakai, and it worked really well with Toto, and he's back to do another introduction video on how to play, what is it, KAIJUDO?
Yep.
Alright, the game is KAIJUDO, yeah, as you can see by the title of the video, and he's going to break it away. He's going to describe the cards, the game mechanics, and so any other questions that you guys have, this is just to tell you guys, ask the questions in the video, underneath the video in the comments, but make sure you go watch the entire video. Probably all the questions will be answered, so take it away, Toto.
Alright, so for anybody out there that's familiar with Duel Masters at all, it's extremely popular still in Japan, but we won World War II, so we'll pay attention to what's popular here. KAIJUDO is the remake for Duel Masters, so Wizards re-upped their licensing, and they put this game out with some fixed mechanics. The guys that make it actually said we learned a lot from Duel Masters, and we're trying to implement that into what is a more perfected, streamlined game. So we're just going to go over a little bit about card anatomy right now, and we're going to talk about how you can read the cards when you go out to your local comic book shop, hobby store, or mass market retailers such as Walmart, Target, or Kmart. Now, alright, so let's first talk about the core of the deck, the way you win the game, creatures. So here's Diabrost, and he's a big fat dick. Now, alright, so here's how we read a KAIJUDO card. First thing to note is a cost, right here. Okay? Diabrost has a cost of 9, it means you'll have to tap 9 mana to play him. We'll get to that in a second. Diabrost is expensive, extremely, as most games tend not to go past costs that are 6 or 7. You can find the character's name here, as well as his creature type. Unlike in Magic or in Yu-Gi-Oh!, creature type doesn't really mean too much in this game, with the exception of some small kind of tricks you can do with each type, one of which Diabrost actually is the grand poobah for his type, Shadow Champion, and he'll bring them back from the grave when they're killed, which is frankly awesome. Most Shadow Champions are extremely high cost, big jerks. So, right here we can see creature. There are only 2 types of cards in the game. You only have creatures and spells. Just about everything gets used as mana, so you can. That's a lot of where the strategy comes from, is you're playing cards on turn 2 that you would like to have on turn 7, but now you can't get them back. We'll talk about that in a bit. Down here we can look at Diabrost's abilities. Double Breaker. Okay, so for those of you who are familiar with Duel Masters, know that you win the game by launching an attack against your opponent that is both unblocked and does not hit one of their 5 shields that go out at the start of the game. Double Breaker means that when Diabrost attacks, if he's not blocked, he breaks 2 shields at a time. To answer some questions you guys may have to get new to it, I have 5 shields. If I have 3 creatures that double break, do I win? No, not really. It turns out Double Breaker does not roll over to your 6th, what would be a 6th shield. So if a Double Breaker attacks and you only have 1 shield left, you only break that 1 shield. We've now covered the most confusing rule in the game. Diabrost's other effect is called Raise the Fallen. Whenever Diabrost attacks, whether he hits anything, destroys anything or not, you can take a Shadow Champion, even other Diabrosts, in your grave and add them back to your hand. Cool, because most of them are boss monsters. Following here, we have everybody's favorite mechanic of flavor text, especially if you ask Face. Right, Face?
Yes.
Flavor text is the most important part of any card game?
Yes, it is, absolutely.
See, there we go. Alright. Guys, check out Guy with a Face.
13.
13. Or the other 12. I mean, we don't know that they're bad. So we have a few more things. Here's a set number, nobody cares. Here's rarity. This is how you tell. This is important to know whether or not there's value in the game. See these 5 stars? That's called a super rare. Yu-Gi-Oh fans, super rare is the top rarity for this one. No, it doesn't mean it just has a foil background. It means it's that hard to get. For the people that care, on average you get 2 to 3 of them in a box. The next rarity down is called a very rare because they're not creative. There's about 3 to 5 of them in a box. Now, this is the art. Diabrost is some giant skeleton-looking demon thing, and he wants your face. This is power. Alright, unlike in Yu-Gi-Oh! And very, very similar to Magic, power isn't so much how much damage you do, it's how likely it is to hit. When 2 creatures battle, the stronger power wins. You don't do any kind of rollover damage, there's no such thing as piercing. Think of it more like success rate than actual attack strength. Alright, There's no toughness, Magic players. You're just going with, assume that 7,000 is a 7/7. Diabrost is huge. Alright, we'll cover the next type of card. That's the same type of card. Let's look at Tendril Grasp. Nearly staple after the release of Set 2 in green decks, Tendril Grasp is one of the game's only sources of mass removal. It also happens to have a nice little effect. In addition to things we have for every other card, we have a cost of 6, we have its name, and we have, it's a spell. That means it can be played from your hand during your turn for its nifty little effect, which is all creatures that are level 3 or less put from the field into the player's mana. Awesome. Super cool. Now, I guess you're asking, how do we tell level? If we look back at Diabrost, I don't see any stars on him, right? We can't tell what level he is. That means he's an Xyz monster. He's black anyway. No. The cost of a card is also referred to its level. So any card that says level 4 or less, it means a creature with a cost of 4 or less. Now we come to this little thing that makes Tendril Grasp special. The term Shield Blast. Duel Masters players may remember this as Shield Trigger. It works exactly the same way. Just so you guys know, people who hate on people hating on Vanguard, it's not the same type of trigger. Now, what happens is when you have a shield, you have X number of cards down on the board. You start with 5. As the game progresses, you lose them. When a shield is broken, it's added to your hand. Okay? A card with Shield Blast, like Tendril Grasp, can be played when it's revealed as a shield for free. But it has to be played immediately then. It's this card like any other spell afterward. It just gives you a chance to retaliate against your opponent with a sneak attack. In this case, a very powerful one, as Tendril Grasp will remove everything that's level 3 or less on both players' boards. It's like mini Dark Hole. Or mini Wrath of God, if you will. We'll keep every game. Tendril Grasp, very, very good. Rush decks designed to swarm the field with low-cross creatures and attack 6 or 7 times, lose to a single Tendril Grasp. They lose all their tempo, and as we'll cover in KAIJUDO later on, tempo is extremely important. Now, that covers Tendril Grasp. Let's look at yet another type of card. We covered Double Breaker, and we covered some kind of on-hit effects. Let's look at the only other effect you'll have to worry about for the most part in creatures. Scaradorable the Gloom Hollow. This card, extremely stable in black or dark decks, as it's referred to. Scaradorable the Gloom Hollow has an interesting little effect called Blocker. So unlike in Magic, when I declare an attack, you don't get to block with any creature you have out. In fact, you cannot defend in KAIJUDO unless you choose to block with a creature that has the blocker ability. In which case, much like the never used Yu-Gi-Oh card Shift, Scaradorable the Gloom Hollow and every other blocker allow you to redirect the target of an attack to them instead of your shield or a tapped creature, etc. We'll get to that later. Now, Scaradorable is stable because of his ridiculously powerful Adorable Gaze ability. Look how cute he is. Anyway, when Scaradorable blocks, if the creature he battles with... Realistically, if Scaradorable attacks or blocks, if the creature he battles with is level 4 or less, regardless of power, neither creature can be destroyed. Which means Squeaky here will stay there constantly, providing a real problem for another friend we're going to talk about in a second.
That's really good.
It's extremely good. The next guy we'll take a look at, the last creature type we have to care about, is Squeaky's arch nemesis, Bronze Arm Sabertooth. Now, this card is legitimately stable in kind of all green decks right now. Bronze Arm Sabertooth is a walking win condition. He's level 4, and for 7,000 power, he kills just about everything. In addition, if he's blown up, he and the creature he evolves from, we'll get to that in a second, become mana. So you killed my big-ass 7k creature, cool, you ramped me for 2. Jerk. Now, he evolves from it. What does that mean? Okay, well here's a special type of creature. It's called an evolution creature. Evolution creatures can't be played normally. They can, however, be played on top of other creatures of their type. So we'll look at Bronze Arm Tribe. Duel Masters player remember Bronze Arm Tribe as probably one of the best cards in the game. Well, he's back. Slightly increased cost, but the same effect. When you play him, you get mana. Now, he happens to be a beastkin, which means if we look at Bronze Arm Sabretooth, his evolution requirement is that he evolved from a beastkin. So, after paying the 4 mana for Bronze Arm Tribe, no matter how many, even the turn he's out, Pokemon players, you can evolve on turn 1 in this one. So,
but you have to pay the
you
cost?
do in fact have to pay the cost for the evolution
It's
creature.
additional cost. So
right.
on top of that 4,
right,
you have to pay
another 4 for Bronze Arm Sabretooth, in which case you put him directly on top. Okay? Now, whatever happens to Bronze Arm Sabretooth, regardless of where he goes, the other creature will follow.
Yes.
Okay? These creatures are now permanently connected. So, when Bronze Arm Sabretooth is destroyed, he becomes mana. So does the Bronze Arm Tribe under him. Okay?
Okay.
Evolution creatures are cool. Made cooler by the fact that they have varying costs. So, meet Prickleback. Prickleback is a beastkin. Whenever he breaks a shield, he goes back into my hand, which means, frankly, he's real hard to get rid of unless you hit a shield trigger with him. He also happens to have a neat little trick where he's level 1. That means you can play him on turn 1. That also means on turn 4, you can play Bronze Arm Sabretooth for 5 mana.
So you get 1 mana each turn? Or how does that work?
Well, I was going to say if you wanted to wait for the next video, we'll cover it. But,
alright. Well, for this video we can just do card anatomy, and the next video we can end up doing game mechanics.
okay, so we'll look at the last type of card we really have to care about for now. Come February and March, we'll deal with multicolored creatures, but we'll take care of that later. Now let's look at a normal spell. Exactly the same as Tendril Breast that we looked at before, except with one change. You only get to play it on your turn. Remember that a Shield Blast can be used on your opponent's turn if it's broken as a shield. If not, it stays in your hand and becomes a regular spell like Reap and Sow. So, same as before, name, art, cost/level. It's a spell, it doesn't have the Shield Blast effect, so we know we can only play it during our turn. Here's an important tooltip for you guys. If you're playing green, look for room for Reap and Sows. Reap and Sow lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, scry 2, Magic players, put one of those cards in your hand, and the other immediately becomes untapped mana. So, if I reveal my buddy Prickleback, I can take whatever card I find otherwise, make it mana, and then immediately play the Prickleback. But how, you ask? If this becomes black mana, how do I play the Prickleback? Stay tuned, we'll cover that.